Hancock is a superhero whose ill-considered behavior regularly causes damage in the millions. He changes when one person he saves helps him improve his public image.
I do public relations. People don't like you, Hancock.
But I look like I care what people think.
Right now there's a DA trying to figure out how to come up here and put you in jail. I say you go.
He's not gonna go.
People take you for granted, you know? We gotta make people miss you.
If you don't move, your head is going up his
Jail watch day 5 and crime is still on the rise.
You got a phone call. It's the chief of police. He says he needs your help.
I honestly thought Hancock was based off a fictional... I honestly thought Hancock was based off a comic book film or something like that, but it turns out it's just an original film, unless I'm wrong, unless there's like some sort of a comic that it was inspired by, like way back in the centuries, that you guys probably know of, that I probably don't know of, because I'm not a huge fan of the Hancock character until I saw the film. So, but either way, I didn't know what to expect with Hancock. I didn't know what the superpowers was. All I knew was that Will Smith was awesome, and he was going to play some sort of a superhero, or an anti-hero, whatever you want to call it, and I was in. I was already in. I didn't see a whole lot of trailers, and I did not try to read so much in the plot synopsis. I was like, okay, it's Will Smith. Anything with him in it, I'm going to watch it. So I saw the movie, and it was surprisingly really good. I honestly thought it would suck. I'm not going to lie. Because it was not based off any comic book arcs that we know of, or a comic book character, that this was like a completely original movie studio character that they just made up, I honestly thought this movie was going to suck. Turns out, I had a lot of fun watching Hancock. It was a lot of guilty pleasures in this film. I had a lot of fun. It was really entertaining. I did not love the film. It does have its issues, and we'll talk about that, of course. Now, I did hear that some people wanted this movie to be R-rated, and it turned out to be PG-13. I don't get why people want this to be R-rated. Now, granted, if this movie turned out to be R-rated, I would not have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have a problem with them cussing or showing some little blood, or, you know, showing something that is, you know, R rating-ish. But the fact that it's PG-13 does not bother me either. I felt like the movie rating was completely fine with the tone of the film. I felt like it added up to what type of story they wanted to tell. So for me, I was very happy with the story they wanted to tell. So the fact that it was PG-13 or R rating, it's completely irrelevant, and I don't really see a problem with this movie being PG-13. So how was everyone else in the movie? I thought the characters were awesome. Will Smith did an awesome job as the character Hancock. He owned up to the role. I don't know if this is his best performance ever, but it did look out that he had a lot of fun in this movie. Like, when you can tell an actor has a lot of fun playing some sort of a character that, you know, is technically kind of stupid, but it's so stupid that you're enjoying it, then you're enjoying it yourself. You can't sit there and being like, ha, this is so dumb. Of course, there are some dramatic moments in the film where the movie is taking itself a little bit too serious, when it's like, okay, you don't need to be that dramatic. I mean, it's not, well, it is an issue, but it's not that much of an issue that you can, you know, you can easily just avoid it, you know what I mean? And the superpowers are pretty interesting. It reminds me of the old version of Superman. If you don't know what I mean, Hancock jumps and he flies, but he really mainly jumps a whole lot. Like, he jumps really high and far away, which is what Superman did in the first arcs of his comics, is that he started jumping a lot. Kind of like the Hulk, you know, jumping from mile to mile, not really flying. That's really kind of what Hancock did, and he reminded me a little bit of the old version of Superman. He didn't have any capes. Like, it made sense why he had a costume. It wasn't being all like, huh, I'm a superhero, so I need a costume. It was like, no, this is protection, so this works. And the costume didn't look that bad either. I mean, it looked like a really cool first costume. Like, I felt everything about his powers and the fact that he got his costume and his behavior, it all made sense. So his motivation wasn't really all that stupid. Like, it all made sense, and you really did care and feel for the character, of course. Charlize Theron is in this movie as well, and there is a little bit of a plot twist with her character. I'm not going to spoil anything, of course, because I don't like spoiling shit, but her character becomes a lot more interesting when that plot twist happens. I mean, I'm not saying that she's not interesting. She's a good actress. Her character is kind of until the twist happens, and you're like, oh. And one of the big gripes I have with the film is the villains, unfortunately. Now, with a really cool original superhero, you need a really cool original villain, or villains, because there are kind of several. It's kind of like a little group of villains, and they're honestly very forgettable. Like, these villains they're not terrible, they're not bad, it's just that they're very standard, and that's unfortunately what makes them forgettable. You kind of forget what their motivation was. I remember it, but I feel like it wasn't enough. It was kind of like, oh, that's the cliche standard villain motivation that every standard villain has in cinematic history, or any history through media in general. And I felt like the villains were very forgettable because of that reason, and it was kind of like an excuse for Hancock to have like a giant fight at the end of the movie. And it was like, I don't know, like the fight scenes Hancock have with the villains could have been a lot more intense if we actually gave a shit about the villains in general, which we kind of don't, and that's really unfortunate. Now, I do understand this complaint, but I didn't have so much problem with this because, again, I still had a lot of fun with the film. Hancock never really throws a punch or a kick directly to any villains. He lifts things up, throws it at him. He lifts someone up, throws it at him. I can understand why that's a complaint, because some people want to see that kind of stuff. It reminds me of Superman Returns. Remember Superman Returns, that shitty film where Superman never really punches or kicks anyone, he just lifts things and just throws it at him, which happens like maybe once or twice in the film. And that's a Superman movie? Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. So it did remind me a little bit about that one. So I wish he actually did some sort of a kick or a punch or throw or anything like that, instead of just a throwing or stuff like that and cutting away from some of the action sometimes. Again, the comedic elements, the action elements, and the effects all look really good. The movie tone, everything looks really awesome, so I would not complain to see a sequel for Hancock. I'm gonna give Hancock a 7 out of 10. If you really have nothing else to see and you have not seen Hancock, you definitely should go see it. It's really entertaining. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it, especially if you really like Will Smith as an actor. But I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you guys think of Hancock? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? And also, if you're gonna talk about spoilers of Hancock, leave it in the comment section down below, but make sure you have a spoiler tag at the top of your comments so you don't spoil it for anyone else, in case they're gonna go to the comment section themselves. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new here, by the way, so you can see more content like these and be updated, of course. And also, don't forget to leave a like if you want to see more content like this. It really does help my channel to improve and get more followers, and me to have like a kingdom of people. And don't forget to follow me on the social media links that are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and have a good day.